Good evening, everyone. May I have a mover? Good evening, everyone. May I have a mover and a seconder to call this meeting to order? Brad and Henry, that this Committee of Adjustments meeting held on September 24, 2025, come to order at 6:01 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Are there any disclosure of pecuniary interest this evening? Seeing none, may I have a mover and a second to adopt the previous minutes? Mike and Brad, that the Committee of Adjustments minutes dated August 20th, 2025 be adopted as presented. All in favor? Carried. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments following meeting. Start again. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments meeting to allow the public an opportunity to express their views regarding the proposed minor variances and consents within the Township of Springwater. Each applicant and their agent is applicable, if applicable, will be given the opportunity to present the application to the committee and public. Additional information on each of the application, including any presentation materials, is available in the committee agenda on the township's website. Following those members of the public who registered to make an oral submission prior to 5:30 p.m. September 23rd, 2025 be given the opportunity to do so. All oral submissions will be included in this meeting's minutes and form part of the public record, including the name and address of the speaker, as information collected under the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The minutes of the meetings will be posted on the township's website. All comments and questions should be addressed through the chair. Application 1, with the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the first application, item number 4.1 on the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.1 on the agenda is consent application B15/25 submitted by Barden's Construction, Inc. regarding lands known municipally as 16 Hillview Crescent. The purpose and effect of the application is to obtain approval to sever one new residential lot of approximately 1,947.6 square meters in area with approximately 42.6 meters of frontage along Crystalwood Lane. The applicant's resulting retained lands are to consist of approximately 3,065.8 square meters in area while maintaining the existing frontage of approximately 45.5 meters along Hillview Crescent.
Have any additional correspondence and/or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the Drainage Superintendent, the Ministry of Transportation, residents of 11, 13, and 16 Crystalwood Lane and 14 Hillview Crescent, the Chief Building Official, the Ministry of Environment, Conservation, and Parks, a neighborhood petition containing 66 signatures, the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority, and Source Water Protection.
Can I please have the applicant introduce themselves and provide comment, if any? Yeah, you can just come up here and just introduce yourself. And just say what you're,
Would you like a chair? My name is Mike Bardens. I'm a local builder. I've been building houses in Springwater for over 20 years. I'm not a developer. I'm not trying to build anything crazy. Just want to sever a lot, build a small house.
Thank you. And you can, Mike, if you want to just stay there in case we have any questions for you. Yeah.
Yep.
Are there any members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you, Chair. There have been 4 members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission. None of them are actively online. However, if I do say your name and you are in attendance this evening, can you please go up to the front, speak into the microphone, and state your name and address for the record, and please provide your comment. So I'll start with Mr. Morgan. Are you in attendance this evening?
Mr. Morgan, if you want to come to the front, and maybe Mr. Barton, if you want to sit back and then this gentleman can say his piece and then we'll call you back up or sit there.
I can speak now.
Yeah, just state your name and
Okay.
address just for record.
My name's Nick Morgan. It's 13 Crystalwood Lane, Midhurst.
Yep, and just explain what your concern is or,
Well, I think we had sent in all of the concerns to the township outlined. And I think it was fairly evident by the 66 signatures in the neighborhood that the neighbors simply aren't happy about this. We realize it's a tax base for the township as well, but we would hope that the township would take into consideration what the taxpayers are interested in where we live, not just the tax base. We did also, well, you're aware all of the things that were brought up with the Minister of Environment, the Nautilus Harbor Conservation Authority, etc. And that was all sent in previous.
thank you. Next one, Jack, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We have Ms. Adams. If you would like to provide any further comments, please make your way to the front.
She's wishing not to speak with any more comments.
Next, we have Mr. and Mrs. Bissett.
If you want to come to the front.
Hi.
Hi. Just state your name and address.
Dana Bissett, 16 Crystalwood Lane. So our concerns echo what the previous speaker shared. We have concerns about obviously drainage and the wells in the area. We've seen some of the wells in the area, not long ago be uncontained because of the artesian wells that we have. And there's also, people move to where we are because of wanting to, enjoy the rural lifestyle and light pollution, noise pollution. One more home wouldn't have a huge impact, but it does change the fabric of the neighborhood to some degree. And as Nick previously said, it would have an impact potentially on future development, taxes. There is a lot of new subdivisions going on south of us and north of us, so there's lots of other opportunities for the township to, benefit from taxes and opportunities for, new homeowners as well. So those are our main concerns.
Thank you. Jack, was there any other ones?
Yeah, our last registered participant is Mr. Schmidt, if you're in attendance this evening.
He's okay, he doesn't want to speak at this time.
Thank you, Chair. That is all.
Thank you. If you wanted to sit back in your seat, you can. We'll just continue. You don't have to sit. Yeah, you don't have to sit up there. Do any members of the committee wish? Are there any other additional members of the pub? I can't remember where. Yeah. Are there any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? Brad?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This one's, I believe, for staff. Am I correct that before any construction could take place, NVCA's concerns would have to be satisfied first? Specifically regarding the building envelope and the floodplain where I believe they're not allowed to build.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the member of committee. The MVCA has been circulated during this process, and as part of their comments through this process, they did request additional condition to the consent. Just want to point your attention to it because I realized it was added late to the agenda and the report, so I apologize for that. Essentially, the condition kind of satisfies what member Sokok just asked. It will require that the applicant submit a little site plan showing the proposed building, just because at this point we're only quite looking at lot creation, but before the consent is finalized, a site plan will be submitted, and if the building envelope can't be fitted within the area of the property outside the NVCA regulated zone, it doesn't necessarily mean that no building can occur, but at that point, they would have to, the applicant, I mean, would have to seek a permit of approval from the NVCA before a building and, to my understanding, grading works proceed.
Thank you. Any other comments from the committee? Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Obviously, there's a lot of concern about this from the neighbors. I've been, long before this committee, I've been around this kind of development for many years, and I remember when John Sweeney built the Crystalwood cul-de-sac. I'm assuming most of the neighbors on Hillview would have objected at the time, but it's there. I also know that every person that applies for an application to do something is usually the only one that's happy about the application in most situations. When I look at our role as a committee of adjustment, I look at this from a planning perspective. The water issues and the building setbacks, all those things have to be dealt with in the permit application process through building permit, through well permit, through septic permit. So all of those concerns, in my opinion, will be dealt with and must be dealt with. You can't have water going on other neighbor's property. We know that. But when I look at it from a planning perspective, if this is approved, each lot that's severed is still within the permissible area of a permissible lot within the zoning. So there's nothing being added here or changed from the planning perspective. The concerns I've heard are, there was one concern about traffic. I think that's, have to keep that one in perspective. It's a change. No one wants change. But I can't find an objection from a planning perspective why the lot size and in the particular zoning would be not acceptable. So unless I hear something otherwise, I'm leaning toward in favor of the application.
Thank you. Any other comments? Henry?
Yeah, just wanting to echo Mike's concerns. Is this here meeting here is strictly to do with the planning, nothing to do with the water or water problem or well problems. Those are all issues that have to be dealt with as the builder is going forward. We're just here to say yes or no to yes, there's room there to build a house. And that is the only thing that we're here for, so.
Thank you. May I have a motion for one of the committee members for application B15/25? Henry?
I make a motion that we accept the application as presented, along with all the staffing reports, recommendations, but that we accept the motion as presented.
May I have a seconder? Mike? That the Committee of Adjustments, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 53 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of the land in question and its surroundings as addressed in the planning report on application dated September 24, 2025, the correspondence received and information presented at the hearings held on September 24, 2025, and the discussion of the matter hereby approve application B15/25, subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant meets all requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality. 2, that the applicant provide 2 copies of the registered survey for the severed lands and prepared by Ontario Land Surveyor. 3, that the owner applicant satisfied be responsible for all costs to satisfy Section 65 of the Drainage Act 1990 if applicable. 4, that the applicant provide confirmation that the existing well and private septic systems are wholly and contained within the boundaries of the retained lands to the satisfaction of the township building official. 5, that the applicant provide confirmation that the proposed severed lands can be accommodated a private well and private septic system to the satisfaction of the township chief building official. 6, that the applicant demolish the existing detached accessory building on the severed lands to the satisfaction of the township's chief building official. The applicant obtain an entrance permit from the severed lands to the satisfaction of the township. 8, that the applicant be required to pay the township a parkland dedication fee in line with the township's parkland dedication policy. 9, that the applicant retain a professional geoscientist or professional engineering experience in the design of wells and flowing well conditions. 10, the applicant retain a licensed well technician employed with a licensed well contractor experience with flowing wells to create the well in accordance with Regulation 903 wells regulation that provides minimum requirements for the construction of a flowing well. And 11, the applicant submit a site plan for the severed lands showing the proposed building envelope in relationship to the NVCA generic regulation area to the satisfaction of the township. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Application number 2, will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the next application item 4.2 on the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.2 on the agenda is minor variance application A22/25 submitted by N and A Limbertos regarding lands known municipally as 12068 County Road 27. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit 2 additional dwelling units totaling 6 dwelling units within the existing building, whereas 4 dwelling units are currently permitted, and to permit a maximum of 163 square meters of accessory building structure area, whereas section 33.3.14.1H permits a maximum of 115 square meters.
Have any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the Ministry of Transportation, the Chief Building Official, the County of Simcoe, the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority, and Source Water Protection.
May I please have the applicant introduce themselves and provide comment, if any? Hi, welcome.
My name is Annette Limbertos. This is my husband, Nick Limbertos. Nicholas, yes. We purchased this house in 2013. At the time that we purchased the house, it was 5 units operating, the main living space plus 4 apartments. We realized at the time that we were going to need some documentation to back up the legality of it. We found out that the house was built when it was Vesper Township, and these houses were very common and allowed on agricultural land. So we did a lot of digging on all of that. Turns out that a lot of the documents were destroyed or lost when Springwater Township took over Vesper Township. So we amassed everything that we possibly could, and in 2017 presented the information that we had to the mayor of the day, and he felt that we had compelling evidence, turned that over to his planner, Chris, and we were given the approval for operating with 4 units. Why only 4? Nobody is quite sure. Nobody can answer that question, but there were clearly 5 in there when we bought the house. We lived on the main floor and rented 4 apartments. So the previous owner lived on the main floor and rented the 4 apartments as well, but at one point his parents lived in one of the apartments. So we're not sure if that was considered an in-law suite or not, but there's nobody alive to tell us at this time. We did a few years back sever the space above the garage. It was part of our personal living space. We did that for a family member so that they could have some independence. It was never intended to be rented out, but it never went that way. It's for our adult son, and he lives with autism, and he's decided he wants to stay closer to us, even though it's just right there. So we ended up renting that space to a friend who was in need of somewhere to live. When we took the building over, the advice given to us by Doreen and Garfield Crawford, the original owners, was to work on a single occupancy basis. It's easier to manage the people and it's easier on the building systems. We adopted that model, and actually in the day that we're in, we feel that that model is a very important one, being the state of homelessness right now and the housing crisis that we're in. It also works with the township and the provincial mandates to try to increase housing and homes. We cater especially to single occupancy, and many of our tenants have also had pets. So that's a tough spot to get. Affordable is an apartment for a single person. With a pet, it's very difficult. So that's kind of been where we have mostly focused on. Our tenants are all very good. They give us no troubles. Our neighbors are all happy. I was talking to one of the neighbors and she said, we bought this house and it was a year and a half later that we found out that it was a multiplex. She goes, we had no idea. So it's very quiet. It's very well run. We live there. We take care of everything on site. And we've also put a lot of money into the house. We've put a lot of money into just fortifying the foundation wherever necessary. It's a very solid house. The walls are very thick, but wherever there's needed to be repair or care of the property, we've definitely put it in, and we have the intention of doing more. The one downfall of the house is that it's a very expensive house to run. It's fueled by, it's heated by propane. We're on a boiler and hydro. So we know those two things can get very costly. So to keep that house running throughout the year, we do need the revenues of the apartments. To run it just as the fourplex with us living there, it doesn't make ends meet for the house. So the 6 apartments are our living space, and then the 5 rentals are definitely needed to keep the building going. And we've just redone the septic. That's all been done in conjunction with the needs of the Nottawasaga, and it's been done to fit and accommodate the entire building with all 6 units. And that was done through our digger for the septic, and he was in close connection with the township. They went out a couple times and checked. So we feel like it's for all the right reasons that we would like to see this approved. 1, there is a housing crisis. 2, it's really hard for individual people, and especially with pets. We need to be able to afford to run this house. Without the apartments being functional, it's literally worthless land. So it's built to do what it's been doing for 69 years, and it's never been a problem. And we would like to continue. We've been working very closely with the fire department, trying to get all of their recommendations and requests and orders taken care of. And we have done several things, and we are in communication with them regularly. And the building code, we're going to meet them after this, I hope. So we'd like to move on from here if we possibly could. We'd appreciate the consideration.
Perfect. Thanks very much. Are there any members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you. There are no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission.
Are there any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? Brad?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess this is for staff. I believe the staff report was submitted prior to the NVCA comments that were received. And given the significant concerns that NVCA has, I'm wondering what staff's position is on that and whether we should be looking at deferring this as they've recommended. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chairman, to the committee. Staff have been in contact with the NVCA as recently as yesterday regarding their comments. Staff are still in support of an application moving forward here tonight. The comments from the NVCA, as we understand them, are more of a warning for the applicant that follow-up work will be required regarding the topo survey that they've provided. They've advised that this is a flood-prone area and that some of the dwelling would be under flooded conditions in certain scenarios. So about a half meter of flooding in certain scenarios. What they've suggested is that through the follow-on building permit process, a development permit will be required to the satisfaction of the NVCA. That's required anyway. So to staff's point, we're of the opinion that it's sort of belt and suspenders for the deferral. So NVCA is basically telling the applicants that, they would like to go through what that process would be to flood-proof this house, whether it's, moving electrical sockets from the 0.3 meter or whether there's entrances that can be moved or anything like that. To staff's mind, that's required regardless before we can issue a building permit. So if the variance moves forward as is, the applicant is going to, as you've heard, correct the fire code issues as well as the building code issues. And before the township can sign off on a building permit, it needs authority from the NVCA through a development permit and through clearance from the NVCA before we can issue that building permit. So we're sort of at the same point, whether we defer or not. The applicant will have to work with the NVCA to deal with the topo survey and flooding conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Excellent explanation. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other comments? May I have Mike?
Yeah, just to follow up to Chris. So basically, Conservation Authority, ESA, and fire all have to be dealt with at the permit process anyway. So yeah, I'm cool. Thanks.
Thank you. May I have a motion from one of the committee members for application A22/25? Brad?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the application be approved as submitted and recommended by staff.
May I have a seconder? Mike? The Committee of Adjustments, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of land in question and surrounding as addressed in the planning report on the application dated September 24, 2025, that the correspondent received and the application presented at the hearing held on September 24, 2025, and the discussion on the matter hereby approve application A22/2025. All in favor? Carried. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Application 3, will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the next application, item number 4.3 in the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.3 on the agenda is minor variance application A26/25 submitted by M&L Kleingebing regarding lands known municipally as 10 Simcoe Street. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit the construction of an addition to the existing detached garage and convert the proposed addition to an additional residential unit, which will exceed the following provisions of zoning bylaw 5000. 1, a total floor area of all detached accessory buildings of 97 square meters, whereas section 4.3.12 permits a maximum total area of accessory buildings of 65 square meters, and 2, a maximum lot coverage of 47.5%, whereas section 3.48.1I permits a maximum of 45%.
Has any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the Ministry of Transportation, the Chief Building Official, and Source Water Protection.
Can I please have the agent or applicant introduce themselves and provide comment, if any?
Hi,
Hi.
Kleingebing, 10 Simcoe Street, and yeah, just hoping that we can get a minor variance for second dwelling.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public who are registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you. There are no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission.
Thank you. Any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? May I have a motion from one of the committee members for application A26/25? Mike?
Yeah, I move that the application be accepted and approved as presented with the any conditions the planning report has included.
May I have a seconder? Henry? That the Committee of Adjustments, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of land in question and its surroundings as addressed in the planning report on the application dated September 24, 2025. The correspondence received and information presented at the hearings held on September 24, 2025, and the discussion of the matter hereby approve application A26/25. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the next application, item number 4.4 on the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.4 on the agenda is minor variance application A27/25 submitted by P. Adams regarding lands known municipally as 2180 Hendry Road. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit the construction of a two-story accessory building, which will be deficient in provisions of zoning bylaw 5000 as described. 1, a maximum height for a detached accessory building greater than the primary dwelling to a maximum of 7.3 meters, whereas section 3.7.5B permits a maximum height less than the primary dwelling to a maximum of 4.5 meters. And 2, a maximum total area of accessory buildings or structures of 304 square meters, whereas section 33.3.14.1H permits a maximum total area of accessory buildings or structures of 115 square meters.
Have any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the Ministry of Transportation, the Chief Building Official, and Source Water Protection.
Can I please have the applicant introduce themselves and provide comment, if any?
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Peter Adams. I'm the owner of 2180 Hendry Road. I'm here just to hoping that the committee will pass my minor variance.
Are there any members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
There are no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission.
Are there any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? May I have a motion from one of the committee members for application A27/25? Henry?
Make a motion that we accept the application as presented along with the staff report.
May I have a seconder? Mike? That the Committee of Adjustments, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of land in question and its surrounding as addressed in the planning report on application dated September 24, 2025. The correspondent received and information presented at the hearings held on September 24, 2025, and the discussion on the matter hereby approve application A27/25. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Committee.
Application 5, will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the next application, item number 4.5 on the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.5 on the agenda is minor variance application A28/25 submitted by R and M Heppel regarding lands known municipally as 2008 Floss Road 4 West. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit an additional residential unit within a one-story detached accessory building, which will be deficient to provisions of zoning bylaw 5000 as described. 1, a maximum floor area of an additional residential unit of 113 square meters, whereas section 3.48.3A permits a total gross floor area of up to 40% of the primary dwelling, or 99 square meters. And 2, a maximum total area of accessory buildings or structures of 255.3 square meters, whereas section 33.3.14.1H permits a maximum total area of accessory buildings or structures of 115 square meters.
Have any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from L. Kenny and M. DeGroot with letters of support, the Ministry of Transportation, the Chief Building Official, and Source Water Protection.
Can I please have the applicant introduce themselves and provide comment, if any? They're both
Madam
on.
Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for hearing us. This application is basically, we're not building anything. I'll start with that. There is a trailer on our property for her. It started with her parents 19 years ago. Her father has since died, but her mother is still living well. She loves to live on the property, and discussion with the planning department, they said, why don't we convert? Because we had applied for another renewal. And they said, why can't we just do this as I said, okay, I'll do show me the paperwork and I'll do the paperwork. So we're not building anything. We're just asking to change this from a temporary use garden suite to a permanent structure, I guess, so that her mother can live where she likes to live until her days are finished. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Are there any members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There have been no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission.
Thank you. Are there any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? May I have a motion for one of the committee members for application A28/25? Mike?
I move the application be approved as presented, and we help these folks get their property into a compliant situation.
May I have a seconder? Henry? That the Committee of Adjustments, having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of land in question and surrounding as addressed in the planning report on application dated September 24, 2025, the correspondence received and information presented at the hearings held on September 24, 2025, and the discussion of the matter hereby approve application A28/25. All in favor? Carried. Thanks very much. Application 6. Will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the next application, item number 4.6 on the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4.6 on the agenda is minor variance application A30/25 submitted by M. Parkhurst on behalf of A. Turcott regarding lands known municipally as 16 Norline Avenue. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit an attached covered patio structure which will be deficient to provisions of zoning bylaw 5000 as described. 1. The erecting and use of a porch structure with a reduced interior side yard setback of 2 meters, whereas section 3.7.2 permits an attached porch on this lot having an interior side yard setback of 3 meters. And 2, the coverage of buildings and structures on the lot being a maximum of 22.5%, whereas section 4.3.8 permits a maximum lot coverage of 20%.
Have any additional correspondence and or comments been received?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, comments have been received from the residents of 2 and 3 McCartney Gate, Ministry of Transportation, the Chief Building Official, and Source Water Protection.
Can I please have the agent introduce himself and provide comment if any?
My name is Mike Parkhurst from Garrett's Engineering. I've been requested to represent Al Turcott of 16 Norline Avenue and assist him with his minor variance application and assist in answering any questions the committee may have. I do have a bit of a statement I guess I could read. Okay. Some background to this project is that Mr. Turcott had hired a contractor that ensured him everything is taken care of with regards to permitting and approvals. Obviously, he was misled, and that was not the case. Therefore, a stop work order was issued by the Township of Springwater, at which time our office got involved. We completed initial zoning review, building code review, and structural analysis for the existing as-built structure. During our review, we determined that there were 2 items just mentioned that were contravened with the zoning bylaw. Then we submitted for the minor variance. The purpose of this as-built covered patio structure was to provide a shaded area while being outdoors and enjoying their pool. Unfortunately, the original placement of the existing dwelling does not permit much of a rear yard, and therefore the desired size of the structure encroaches into the setback. From my experience, this type of variance request is generally something I would see get approved, although there has been the letter provided by the neighbors, which objects to this structure. The letter was provided to us on September 23rd, yesterday, and we've had limited time to review. With that being said, we do have solutions and responses to some of the objections within the letter, and we're hoping that we can find a compromise to allow the structure to remain and all parties be satisfied. Is it okay if I go over the points made in the letter and our responses to those? Yeah. Okay, so the first point would be covering of existing swales. The roof structure does not appear to cover any portion of existing swales or ditches. There should be no reason that the existing swales or ditches would be obstructed. It basically just cover. Was that not loud enough? I'm sorry. Okay, my apologies. Is this on? Okay, so the roof structure does not appear to cover any portion of the existing swales and ditches, and there should be no reason that the existing swales and ditches would be obstructed. It covers a landscaped patio right now that's just been there existing, so there's no grass area right there where it covers. There's no swales, there's no ditches. The second objection comment was erosion of soils of neighboring lot. So since there was the stop work order, they stopped construction and the gutters and downspouts hadn't been put on there. So if everything gets approved, gutters and downspouts to be provided to ensure that the neighboring lot is not adversely affected by the roof drainage, although this hasn't been completed due to the stop work order. The third comment is, I guess, an aesthetics comment to the tin roof or the aluminum metal roofing. In my opinion, the black aluminum roofing material blends with the black shingled roof of the existing dwelling. This type of roofing material is one of the few options that conforms to the building code for low slopes. Shingles wouldn't be applicable just because it's a 112 pitch. The other option would be like a rubber roofing membrane, which I think comparably for aesthetics, the rubber roofing membrane would not be up to par of what I think the metal roofing does, nevertheless. Other is unfinished roof edge. Again, that's due to the stop work order. Subfascia and aluminum fascia is to be installed along the roof eave, along with the gutters and the downspouts. And then there was a comment about cladding the 6x6 posts. I mean, exposed pressure treated lumber or cedar lumber is very typical to any outdoor type project, decks, additions, porches. So, I mean, if it comes down to us being compromised in cladding that, that's okay. But from the photos provided, you can't see the posts and the beams from the other property. And like I said, it's very typical to have pressure treated lumber exposed for these types of structures. Then the last one would be the real estate property value decreasing. And I can't really make too much of a comment on that without an appraisal or any letter from a professional real estate agent or something specifying why it would be decreased because of this small structure that's on the neighboring property. We're happy to provide modifications to the structure as previously mentioned to resolve some of these objections and permit the as-built structure to remain. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Are there members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you, Chair. We do have one member, Mr. and Mrs. Wilding of 3 McCartney Crescent. If you happen to be in the council chambers, please make your way to the front.
Good evening, Madam Chairman and councillors, and I apologize. My husband is not here because he was just released from hospital yesterday. He's extremely weak and very stressed out over this whole situation. This has been going on since the middle of August, us trying to find some sort of arrangement or what have you. I submitted this letter of our objections. I'm not sure if you council members have seen it. I feel that we're very accurate in our complaint in the fact that the town of Midhurst in Springwater Township was planned with draining ditches along each side of the roadways. You've read this whole letter. I don't need to go through it all again. Our big concern, of course, is this metal roof and the cedar posts. Unbeknownst to us, no building permit was ever arranged for this structure. If the building permit was arranged, we never saw it and it was never posted anywhere invisible. And yes, I'm anxious and nervous. The tin roof structure is totally offensive to the rest of the neighborhood. And keeping with the rest of the Midhurst buildings, they are brick, sided, and shingled roof. We have some lovely properties in Midhurst, and not one of them has a tin roof on it. So the cedar posts, I am assuming in appearance would be acceptable, but nothing has been presented to us as to what they're going to do with the roof. Other than saying that no permit was ever presented to us and according to this building. And I do believe that the neighbors should be presented with a building permit when a change in the structure is arranged. The structure is attached to the house, so it should have a building permit. It's not a freestanding structure. The request to change the bylaws in order to permit this structure to be there, again, would be totally against all the other bylaws in Midhurst. The lot, the distance between the structure and the fence, it's not enough land there. There's not enough footage. We know that there was a inspector from the township of Springwater who came out to check the shed. We have not seen any report of that. I don't know if we're supposed to, but we have not seen any of that report at all. I don't know what else to say. It's just that it's very offensive in appearance. And it's all very well and good for the owner to now say he's intending to do this. But meanwhile, we're still looking at this very offensive structure. And we can't sit out on our back deck without seeing these 2x4 posts. We submitted pictures. I hope that you have seen these photos. And it's very offensive. We both happen to be seniors. We enjoy sitting in our backyard. Right now, it's not pleasant. And we have lived in that house since 1991. It's just a very stressful time. Fun.
Just take your time.
My husband has been in and out of hospital since the middle of August. I've also undergone a very hefty speeding ticket because I was trying to get to the hospital, and it's just not good. And I know I should have been paying attention to the speeding laws, but when your husband is taken in by ambulance 3 times in a row, it's not easy. And you just want to get there. And I've paid the speeding fines. It's not that we can't afford to pay the speeding fines, and that's not the issue. It's just you have to understand the whole scenario. I don't know what else to say. It's just that something has to be done about that structure. We would really prefer to have it completely removed. And if they want to build, unfortunately, their house is located on a very odd-shaped lot. And yes, we're fully aware of the fact that the sun is very strong on the deck area that they're trying to cover. A structure can be built, but please make it something that looks attractive. There are wonderful canopies around. I have seen them. It's just not appropriate to the housing areas where we live, what they have built right now. And even if he intends to put some wraps around the cedar posts or intends to put some sort of shingling on the metal roof, is it really going to improve the situation? Not really. It's still going to be too close to the fence line. It's still going to be a very unattractive structure, period. I'm afraid I apologize for my emotional behavior. I thought I was going to be strong enough, but I'm not, obviously. So thank you for your time. And that's where I think I'm going to have to finish.
Thank you. Totally understand. I'm nervous sometime up here. Are there any members of the public, any additional members of the public in attendance this evening to make an oral submission? Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? Henry?
Excuse me. I respect your concerns. A lot of the stuff that's and as was situated, the person did not know that he had to get a building permit and now does know it. So a lot of the stuff that's not done yet has been because of a stop work order. So like the fascia, soffit, all that stuff has to be done according to the building permit. And anything else that has to be redone on that structure. As far as, I'm just going to make some comments here. As far as the steel roof, I mean, there are lots of houses that are now putting on steel steel on their roofs, whether it be steel shakes or whatever. And on that pitch, yeah, shingle roof is not going to last. So, and it comes in front of us as the committee is when there is a boundary adjustment and we feel that or feel against it or in favor of it. That's why it comes in front of the committee. So that we can decide whether it is a hindrance or not. And so so that's all what we're here for is, again, as earlier presentation was that we are just here, two things. It's covering more of the lot than it was supposed to, and is a little closer to the fence line than it's supposed to. Those are the two things that we are dealing with.
Any other comments? Mike?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mrs. Wilding, thank you for your comments, and I'm sorry you've had to go through this difficult time. I agree with Henry. I still think it's important for our committee to stay within our bailiwick of what that is. And the fact that it's too close to the lot line is the reason it's at this committee of adjustment. And there's an application for a variance. As far as the products, the tin roof or the cedar, to be honest with you, that's a very subjective thing. I have a tin roof next door to my home, my neighbor. Whether I like it or not is really not the issue. I feel like I would really hope this committee would never get in the position of making choices based on aesthetics or what products look nice or don't nice. I don't think that's our role and and if we do that role, I think we need to be replaced because I don't think that's the role of this committee. So I would never make a decision based on whether I like the color, the texture, the look of something. That's not the role of this thing. So I don't have an issue with the application because I know that the drainage is going to be solved and there's a stop work order now. That means the permit has to be resolved. The permit has to be taken out and closed appropriately. That means drainage is solved. That means if the eaves trough required, fascia, whatever is required is solved. That will look very different. It's not going to change the steel roof. I understand that. But I think the physical issues to the property, the effects on the property itself are going to be resolved, or the concerns of effects of the property are going to be resolved. I know a little bit about real estate. I've been doing this real estate for over 30 years. I don't see any issue on the value of the property effect. I understand you don't like it and I respect that, but I don't think that's a committee of adjustment issue to deal with. So I don't see an objection personally. So.
Thank you. Any other comments? May I have a motion from one of the committee members for application A30/25? Henry?
Make a motion that we accept the application as presented, along with the staff report that that was presented to us on the things that have to be done.
May I have a seconder? Brad? That the Committee of Adjustments having given consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 45 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of land in question and surrounding and addressed in the planning report on application dated September 24, 2025, the correspondence received and information presented at the hearings held on September 24, 2025, and the discussion of the matter hereby approve application A30/25. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Yeah, well, that's it. Thank you.
Can I just ask, so if we have a problem with soil erosion, is that going to be solved? I'm sorry if I'm carrying this on, but
That would be all through the planning department within Springwater. So you'd have to take it up with them once that's found or whatever.
Once.
Yep,
what-
we're-
sorry.
You would definitely have recourse for sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
What-
absolutely.
I'm sorry, okay, so I understand. If we have soil erosion, then we have to go to another committee, is that correct?
No, you would go through township staff.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sorry,
you for
I
your
didn't.
time.
You're welcome. Thank you. May I have a second? Henry, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to make comment. I appreciate not just you coming in, but when you have concerns, it's good that you bring them up. But just remember what we are here for is that we are here for if they're outside of the rules of what's out there, then it comes in front of us. And we then determine whether it can be outside of the rule or not. So it's the same as what this here is yes, he's a little too close to the fence and he's covering more of the lot than he's supposed to under the rules. But then that's why it comes in front of us and we go to each site and we look at them and we give our opinion as to yes or no. And that's, but otherwise, as far as the building, the structure, that's all to do with the building department. We have nothing to say over that, so. Yep.
Building stay on that piece of land, even though it is against all the other bylaws of Springland. Is that correct?
On this specific case, yeah.
So the variance has been accepted.
Correct.
Thank you.
Welcome. May I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn this meeting? Henry and Mike, that the Committee of Adjustments meeting held on September 24, 2025 now does adjourn at 6:56 PM. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Have a good evening.